Rutherford Issues on News Radio WGNS.
I do this every day. And we are back, and Rutherford Issues is powered by Middle Tennessee Electric, and they remind us that better communication leads to better service. Keep your contact info current at mte.com so you never miss an important update on billing or local outages. Lee Colvin, Edward Jones Financial Advisor, joins us here in studio. This is what happens when you have someone working at 3:30 in the morning doing storm coverage. And then they come back, and then here they are doing this, and they don't know how to, I don't know. I guess it's sleep deprivation, and your brain knows what to do, but it just doesn't work.
Absolutely.
How are you?
I'm great.
Making it through the storms okay?
Yeah.
You slept through it, didn't you?
You know, I heard them, but that was it.
Didn't think about them.
Nope. I literally thought, I think I believed it was a part of my dream.
Oh.
And so when I woke up, left the house, and realized it was wet outside, I'm like, oh, it did storm last night. Okay, great.
So that was a stormy dream you were having there, apparently.
It was.
Well, Lee Colvin, by the way, is a longtime friend of the show and Edward Jones Financial Advisor you're coming up on 2 decades here now, friend, aren't you?
We are. Well,
another year and a half, something like that.
September will be exactly 20 years.
Is that right?
I've been on here. Yeah. I guess maybe a year and a half will be 20 that you and I have been together.
Yeah, because May is year 19, start of year 19, full time here. Yeah,
and I started on the station in September.
Yeah,
of 06. Whew.
And see, even when they hired me, he said, "You know what? He'll be okay."
This will be easy. We'll give you Lee. And Brian's asked why ever since.
Oh, goodness. Well, it has time flies when you're having fun. Lee is an Edward Jones Financial Advisor and comes on every couple of weeks to talk with us. And we're going to talk about home buying and some questions that you need to ask. Actually, 2 big questions, right?
There are definitely questions, Brian. You know, you've always heard that buying a home is better than renting. I mean, after all, why throw money away on rent when you could be building wealth through home ownership? And financial professionals say that the decision isn't that simple. The answer depends on your personal and your financial situation. So before you begin house hunting, please, before you begin house hunting, ask yourself 2 key questions. Number 1, can you afford to buy? And 2, should you buy?
Okay, that sounds very logical to me. But you said a key thing in there before you start looking to buy. And a lot of times it's just like that puppy that I have now that I have 2, and then my daughter's dog makes 3. So 3 dogs in the house. Why did that happen? It's because you went looking first.
You know.
So you kind of want. And so anyway, can you afford to buy? That's one of the things that you need to look at beforehand. And a lot of people think, well, I can afford this much rent. But there are other things that go into that, I'm sure.
That's right. You know, and why, back to it, right? Before you start hunting, can you afford to buy?
Mm-hmm.
Because, Brian, while being ready to purchase a home means having enough money for a down payment and a monthly mortgage, there are other financial obligations that can be involved and are involved.
Yes. Sorry, my lifesaver got stuck.
Folks, I mean, if y'all could see,
ma'am,
that 3:30 in the morning, he's like catatonic over here.
I'm not built for this anymore, man. I'm telling you. I'm just not. So let's
I've always just wanted the Lee Colvin, Edward Jones show.
Well, here you go.
Monologue by Lee Colvin. I will miss you today, Brian. Sorry, buddy.
I'm zeroing in now. I got a little sugar punch there. So it is important to get those debt levels at a good spot, isn't it? Manageable spot.
It is. Brian, without a mortgage, it's ideal for your monthly debt payment to be less than 20% of your gross monthly income. With a mortgage debt payment, you should stay lower than 35% debt to income.
Okay.
35%. So with a mortgage and with your monthly debts, you should be no more than 35% debt to income.
Not individually. That's not 35 here, 20 there. So listen to those numbers and what he said.
Funny.
You know?
I like it.
Well, I mean, how many have, yeah. So also, you'll need to think about insurance premiums for that home too, right?
That's right. You've got homeowners insurance premiums, and those are quite a bit more than renters policies.
Yes.
You're also going to have a deductible on that homeowner's insurance premium. So anything, yes, you're paying insurance, but then you still have to pay for a deductible if a claim comes up. You have to be able to pay your annual property taxes.
Yeah, I had 2 county commissioners on the previous hour and asked them if they were going to do anything about that.
No. Maybe increase them to cover all the growth we have going on. Hold emergency savings for the cost of major repairs, such as a roof or a driveway replacement. Build flexibility into your budget for routine expenses like an HVAC with tune-ups or a lawn care work being done. But don't forget the upfront costs, such as closing costs on the home. And these can come with home buying, but they typically can run anywhere from 2 to 6% of the purchase price.
Okay. Now that you've rained on our parade, no, I'm just kidding. It's good. You need to know all of these things, and
that's right. Knowledge is power,
right? And we're trying to show that you really need to consider these before you buy. So, can you afford to buy? Now the question: should you buy?
Should you buy? One of the biggest factors in deciding whether to buy or rent usually is going to relate to time. The longer you plan to stay in your house, the more likely it is that buying makes financial sense. Generally, professionals say that it does not make sense to buy unless you're planning to stay in the home at least 3 to 5 years. At least 3 to 5. So I guess I've hit it. I'm at 6 this month. So
okay.
I hit it. I'm beyond that. I was a good homeowner.
I think I'm at 20 or 21.
You're probably a better homeowner.
I just look and I say, I don't want to move this somewhere else.
Right. So folks, if you want to be like Brian and live there for 20 years, that may be the right option for you.
Well, I sure bought it 20 years ago, a lot cheaper than I would have today. That's for sure. But,
absolutely.
So when you buy a home, you're going to face, purchasing costs right out of the gate.
Yeah, you're going to have those closing costs typically.
Yeah.
But initially, when you build equity slowly, doing this, since most of the mortgage payment goes to the interest first, remember, you're not going to build equity fast. Most of the payment goes to the interest the first several years. Staying in your house longer offers more time to build equity in the value of the home. Overall, the total cost of buying could be lower than renting. And
we're talking with Lee Colvin, Edward Jones financial advisor. 2 questions before buying a home. Can you afford it? Should you buy it? We're talking about should you buy? And there are a lot of factors that can impact whether it's going to be more cost effective to rent than buy, aren't there?
Certainly. One, very simple but kind of obvious, job stability. Are you in a stable job? Potential reduction in income for one or both spouses. I just had a client yesterday say, hey, I think I'm going to go back to school and go into a nonprofit world, something that I can feel more value personally in than what I'm doing today. What are your mortgage rates? What are rental costs? What's the rate at which homes are appreciating in value and the cost of homeowners insurance? All of these things can come into play when you're making this consideration and this decision.
Yeah, there are a lot of really great online tools, online calculator applications, if you will, to account for all those factors and help you make some comparisons. So let's go beyond all the numbers and things that you've talked about, and should you buy and can you afford. When deciding whether it's time to buy a house, let's take cost out of this. What do we need to be looking at?
So buying a home is more obviously than an investment. Your home is where you live your life. So you should consider your lifestyle, your preferences. Buying might be more suitable if you need stability, if you want to personalize your home, and if you're comfortable with trying or really tying a portion of your wealth to a home and the growth or non-growth of that home. Renting offers more flexibility and fewer maintenance responsibilities along the way.
Boiling it all down, choosing to rent or buy comes down to really kind of understanding your finances, your plans, what you want in a place that you're going to call home. That it's not a rental, it's your home.
Right. And, you want to take the time to assess these costs, your lifestyle, the trade-offs, really to help make sure that you're making the choice that supports your long-term goals, not just a quick and easy decision.
Well, Lee, if somebody is considering this, finances, big part of it, as we've talked about. If they don't have a financial advisor, I know a pretty good one. There are a lot of great Edward Jones folks here in town too, Lee, so I'm sure you'd love to talk with anybody out there listening, or can guide them to somebody who can help.
Absolutely, Brian. We do. We have a lot of great financial advisors here in Rutherford County and surrounding counties. Please, if you're in a situation where you're asking these questions, you're not sure where to go, give my office a call, 615-907-7056. Again, that's 615-907-7056. We'd love to talk, maybe even set an initial meeting, and then try to find you with the best advisor to fit you and your family's needs most appropriately.
All right. Lee, as always, it's a pleasure.
You too, Brian. Thanks so much, buddy.
See you
soon. Have a great day.
Edward Jones financial advisor Lee Colvin joining us on the show today. If you missed any part of it, check the podcast. It'll be up at WGNSradio.com under Rutherford Issues here very, very soon.